Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I've got a beautiful review of a Japanese domestic market diver. This is the SBDC069, otherwise known as the Blue Coral Sumo. It was released in Japan last month. Before I begin, I'm wearing the GST S3100, otherwise affectionately known as the Toilet Oak today. And I'm really excited to share with you guys the watch. This is a beautiful Sumo. I've owned a few different Sumos. The black one, the Blumo, I've owned a very cool special edition. But I can tell you from experience, this has been my favorite one that I've owned to date. It's the most beautiful. So what makes this different? This is not a special edition. This is not a limited edition. Really, it's the exact same as a Blumo, except we have a different dial here with a couple other color details. And this dial is, it's probably the most vivid and saturated dial, blue dial, that I've ever seen in person. It is simply stunning. And I hope you guys can see just how sharp it is from the video here, because it's very impressive in person. And it's got that sunburst effect, but it also has kind of the inky feel, especially when we get up close here on a macro level. You can see a little bit of variation there in the dial. And the tone, I think, just matches perfectly with the yellow accent of the seconds hands and the different markings on the chapter ring. I think it also ties in very well with the slightly greenish hue of the Lumabrite on the applied markers that you see in daylight. In the end, it's just it's an incredible colorway that I am super glad that Seiko made, because it's just beautiful. Now let me give you a loom shot here, and I'll place the dimensions here on the screen so you guys can see the size of this watch, its weight and its dimensions. Now it's a big watch, 45 millimeters, 52 lug to lug, almost 14 in height. But there's something about the Sumo case, which is one of the best wearing modern Seiko divers, that just make this wear smaller than its stated dimension. Part of that is the fluid lines. You can see if we look at a side profile, there's some nice beveling going on. Look at how the lugs arc down there. I don't know, the crown at the 4 o'clock position, it just wears smaller on wrist. My wrists are 7.25 inches, and I really dig the way this wears. Some complain of the 20 millimeter lug width, but I think it helps accentuate the dramatic nature and design of the case, and help tie it in with the nickname even better, the Sumo, very round and bulbous. Now this case is impressive. It's probably the best finished case that you can buy at $500 or even a little bit above. There's a lot of nice techniques displayed here with the different brushing, the chamfered, beveled inner edges of the lugs, the different polishing, the delineation between the polish and the brush. Even look at the ends of the lugs and how many different angles and surfaces there are there. This is one of the best cases that Seiko makes, and it's really great that this comes in at the affordable price point. So this watch retails for about 60,000 yen. With today's conversion rates, that's about 550 US dollars, and I think it's worth every penny. It is gorgeous. It wears very well. It's highly functional too. So this carries the 6R15 movement, which is, it's a nice movement, 50 hours of power reserve, completely in-house, 23 jewels, Sprawn, 510 mainspring and hairspring. I found this one to be accurate within 4 seconds per day, which is really great to see at a watch at this price point. So considering everything, the beautiful applied markers, the originality, the bold nature of the design, that gorgeous case finishing, and then this new blue colorway, this is just a really attractive offering. Let me show you the bezel action. This is, out of all the Sumos that I've tried, this is actually the most pleasant action, and everything lines up perfectly. There has been some quality control issues from Seiko last year, but in the several that I've tried since, I've not had any problems. So that's really promising. What would be any negative aspects about this piece? There's really only two in my eyes, and the big one is going to be the crystal. We have a really nice domed crystal. You can get some pleasant distortions from extreme angles. I think it ties in very nicely with the beveled, partially shrouded bezel there. But it's Hardlex. It's not sapphire. And the market at this price point, everything's sapphire except for, a few watches from Seiko. So I would love to see Seiko do a sapphire crystal with AR application. That would take this watch up a notch. But just be aware that this is their own proprietary Hardlex crystal. Not a deal breaker in my eyes, but it definitely does need to be addressed. Now the other thing is a little bit more subjective, but it's the bracelet. If we look, the end-link design, especially where there's those two polished areas are, they don't quite match the same design as what's found on the links. They're slightly mismatched. And that's the only thing that slightly bothers me, but again, it's not a huge deal. It's just something that I need to nitpick because I'm just in love with this watch. It is awesome. So I bought this from JapanOnlineStore.com. They're the place I go to when I want Japanese domestic market. Seikos and Citizens, Casios, Kenta just runs a great store. He actually threw in a bunch of swag for me, some cool extra Seiko things, which I really appreciate. You guys can check that out in the unboxing video if you're interested. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to try and help and to answer. I've been just super impressed with this watch. This is a definite keeper for me. This is not going anywhere. Just check out how beautiful that blue is. This is one of the most exciting releases from Seiko that I've seen in recent memory. So very, very cool watch. Thanks for taking the time to watch, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.